Ed, I'm sorry.
All please rise.
I'm studying for my test.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you again address the coronavirus situation. It's really caused a lot of concern. It's changed our style of life, and we just hope that the medical profession can reach out and find a solution to get us back on track again. In our prayers, please remember our loved ones, our shut-ins that might be confined to a hospital or at their home. Also remember our armed forces that are giving us their lives to obtain freedom for us at home. Also, grant this governing body the wisdom and ability to make the correct, productive decisions that will benefit all of our village residents. Thanks be to God for all of you, for what you do for us. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Matt. Roll call, please.
Councilman Otten will not be here this evening. Councilman Bishop.
Here.
Councilman Hershuk.
Here.
Councilman Henry.
Here.
Mayor Junkins.
Here.
Councilman Sassine.
Here.
Recorder Sassine. Here. Councilman Snyder.
Here.
And Councilman Wojcik.
Here.
Okay, next, Matt, then we have the minutes of our October 19, 2020 meeting. Has everybody gotten a copy and time to adjust or digest? At this time, if there be no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the October 19, 2020 minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
Did you get that, Matt? Okay, any question on the motion? If there are any questions on the motion, if there be no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carried. Recorder's report. Matt.
All I have this evening, Mayor, is the next council meeting will be held Monday, November 16th, 2020 at 8 p.m. here at the village office.
Okay, next we have the accountant's report, and Jamie's not here tonight, so we'll move on to the next thing. What I'd like to do right now is to deviate from the normal standard agenda and let Johnette address us with a little bit of information, any questions and answers that anybody might have developed since last meeting. Johnette?
Okay. Well, since the last time I was here, I went back to the health plan, and the underwriter was off for a week, and I went back to the health plan to see if they would give us points off of your renewal. So I talked with Jody McAdams at the health plan. She was supposed to have an answer for me by today, which I did not get yet. But I'm hoping we can get a couple points off that renewal of the 5.5%. We went to and looked back at some other carriers, and we looked at their ACA rates, and they were higher, way higher than what your renewal is. So, but I wanted to tell you, come next year, there's going to be new plans coming out. We've already been notified. So the next time we quote again, we'll be quoting the new plans that are coming out in West Virginia. West Virginia is different than the state of Ohio. In Ohio, we have so many more carriers that we can look at. In West Virginia, you don't. You use United Healthcare, Highmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and Aetna, and that's it. So next year, there's going to be more players in the market, so we'll be able to look at those other carriers. And so hopefully, in the next few days, Jody McAdams will be getting back to me to see if we can get the renewal even lower. The renewal you got, when people, anybody in the healthcare field that sees what you got as a renewal, they would say take it and run, because we don't see very many renewals that come in below 10%. So I congratulate you, because like I said, for what you did last year was the smart thing to do, to put in the HRA. Any questions?
Any questions?
You're talking about next year is probably going to be up around that 10% level or something like that, or
Well,
it's hard to say, I imagine, isn't it?
It's hard to say, but I hope not. I hope when the new players come in and the new products come in, that they'll come out, and I hate to say this too, a lot of times, you know, a carrier will come in and they'll give you a good rate the first year, but then the second year is when they hit you. So, but the health plan has been really good to you all. So we'll just see what happens next year, you know, when we go out to the market again and look and see what the renewal comes in at for next year. We got a renewal in, Friday. And it wasn't one of my groups, it was one of the other brokers' groups. And their renewal came in at an 80% increase. So you just never know. You don't know what's gonna happen, how much usage you're gonna have on, you know, with your employees. Is somebody gonna have a serious illness? Are you gonna have specialty drugs? It's just hard to tell. But next year we'll know.
All we can do is wait, I guess.
Yeah. Just hope the health plan takes a few points off.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
By when do we need to act?
Pardon me?
By when do we need to act?
Well, normally with a renewal, it's usually around the 10th of the month. But when you have things going on, they let you extend it. So the next meeting will tell you for sure on what's happening.
Okay, there's any more questions for John Ed?
Isn't the deadline December 1st?
No. Oh, December 1st.
December.
Yeah.
December 1st.
So we have one more meeting before then, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all that John Ed wants, then if there's no questions, you're free to go. And
Well, thank you very much, I appreciate it, and in your prayer, when you talked about the coronavirus,
Yeah,
it's really scary right now.
it is.
And I look for another 100,000 people to die.
And evidently in the state of West Virginia, it's starting to pick up.
Yeah,
As
Ohio, too.
This past weekend.
yeah, it's not good. Matter of fact, we just got word before I left work tonight, but it wasn't in my offices, it was in one of our other offices where 2 people have tested positive. And this just happened, so you just don't know. Just don't know. Well, thank you for having me,
Thanks for
and I'm
coming up,
sure I'll be
Jeanette.
back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See you at the next meeting.
I'll see you at the next meeting. Hey, you too.
Okay. Solicitor TC, do you have anything to report?
I have nothing tonight.
Thank you. Also, in your chairs tonight, we distributed the monthly, it was the October police chief's report for your edification. Okay, it looks like I hopped over the mayor's report. I've got a few things I want to run by council tonight, things that occurred since last meeting. On Saturday, October the 24th, about 9:45 p.m., at the Bethlehem Presbyterian Church parking lot, a tractor trailer was turning around, struck an AEP utility pole, tore down the electric line and moved the pole over. The line was energized. One of the neighbors there heard the noise but could not get the necessary information to give our police. Of course, the truck realized what he had done and left the scene promptly. In fact, when the people came to church that morning, the Sunday morning after that, that's when they discovered the line down, and there was a former employee of AEP goes to church, and he took the necessary, before AEP got there, took them and taped off the end of the line and typed it up until AEP got there. 2 weeks earlier, the entrance way to the church parking lot on the other side of the church, on the left side, a truck was backing into the church entrance to turn around and backed over 3 church signs, and of course left the scene promptly. These signs were replaced with new signs and posts. The village's water meter pit that services the church was inspected by village personnel and determined that it was not damaged because it was also run over. Then, on Wednesday, October the 28th, sometime during the night, as it was reported by the minister of the church on Thursday morning, the new signs and posts to the entranceway that were replaced had been run over with a larger truck because they were basically rolled into the soil. The soil was wet, and they were basically flush with the ground. I'm very familiar with this area, and because I helped several church members restore the first damage, so I knew it was just very disheartening when I discovered it the second time. On Sunday night, early morning, a tractor trailer was turning around going through the Bethlehem Elementary School parking lot and hit the aluminum roof on the entrance to the school. If you know, there's an entrance there, there's a sign, there's a roof on the top, but there's some aluminum on the front part. Well, fortunately, let's see, luckily our midnight officer and police chief were able to apprehend this truck and the driver. The necessary paperwork was filed, and the High County Board of Education will be reimbursed for that repair cost. It gets worse before it gets better. On Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, October 27 and 28, on the roadway off 91 that parallels the school playground and intersects onto Chapel Road. That's where you come up from 91, parallel along there. And in fact, on that road, there's a slip there, and the school's been notified. For a while, they had 4 horses out there, but they've taken 3 down. There's still 1 there, and when I saw that one, I called the Board of Education. That's when school was starting. I said, "Aren't you a little concerned about that?" I said, "I am." So they haven't done anything about it. But anyway, what I'm alluding to here, a large tractor-trailer truck who was coming up Chapel Road from the traffic light intersection turned down onto the shortcut that goes down to 91, took out some of the guardrail, ran over the stop sign, and completely damaged the school's solar-powered flashing school light. Major damage here. Unfortunately, there were no witnesses to this disaster. It's the old case of hit and run. On Friday night, October 30, the roadway that was parallels to the school was hit again, damaged the same props, the stop sign, the guardrail, and additional guardrail that comes up the road, but the initial guardrail was up on Chapel Road. But this time our police department, because I had been talking to them and thought we're going to catch these guys that do this, they were able, or he was able to apprehend the tractor trailer truck with 2 drivers. One was sleeping in the cot that they have here. Anyway, there's been an accident report written up on that, and these individuals are to appear in Bethlehem's police court on November the 11th. I think we might have had at that time maybe some help from the neighbors. I think they heard some noise, called 911 right away, and that's why I've been talking to our midnight guys to be on the lookout for this, because it seems like every time that the state or the contractor shuts down Interstate 470 eastbound, that's when all these other trucks appear. They come up Bethlehem Boulevard East. They don't read the signs. In fact, this outfit that we caught, these guys didn't speak English. Now, if they don't speak English, how do they read the road signs? They're not in Spanish. You know, it leaves a lot to be desired. Anyway, when I went to church this Sunday at Bethlehem Church, some good Samaritans came to the rescue, and I don't know who they are yet. One of them was our police officer. He put up one sign, and he said if he had had tools, he'd have put up the other. But I suspect that some of the neighbors, knowing what's going on, put the other one up for us. But we just put new signs there too, and now the signs, because they're run over, they're kind of wavy. They give you that friendly wave. Anyway, on Wednesday, October 28th, a resident had a medical episode, drove across Spruce Street Bridge, and ended up going down in the Community Park Road here, and he blacked out. He went into the park, down into the putt-putt course, across some greens, and was stopped at a fence. He was transported by the Bethlehem Fire Department, and when I heard the call, I came down here to see what was going on, and everything, I mean, our police were here and everything, and I understand the good side of it, that the individual is recovering in the hospital. I don't know if he's home yet or not, but like I say, he blacked out, and the only thing he remembered was coming across Spruce Street Bridge. So it's a shame, and it's a good thing he didn't get hurt. He was able, when the fire department were working on him, they got him out, he stood up, he was able to walk over to the cot and then be put on. He was cognate, he communicated, but of course he wasn't that outgoing, but I just hope he's okay. And then on Wednesday, October 28th, Bethlehem officials were invited to attend a ceremony at Heritage Port, Wheeling, at 10 o'clock to receive the grant that the village applied for recently. The $50,000 grant is for our community park to expand our walking trail and repair some of the areas of the existing trail. Those that attended the presentation that was called by Governor Jim Justice were Bethlehem Councilman Aaron Snyder and Stikey Wojcik, Park Committee members Aaron Roth, Dory Glasky, Jane Ann McGuire, Judy Kirker, and Arlene Doty, and myself. There were City of Wheeling officials there to receive two grants. The grant they received, one was for above the Heritage Port there, and the other was for below it. And you might have seen the articles in the paper. And then there was a gal there from New Martinsville to receive her grant. But it was kind of misty there, but it was a rainy day, but it was well worth receiving this grant. And when we got there, it was supposed to be at 10 o'clock. Well, Governor Justice, I didn't know he was going to be there, but he was. But he didn't get there till about 25 of 11. And he comes driving in with a black SUV Suburban, and they bring him around, escorted by the state police. And so anyway, it seemed like, I was wondering when he was going to get to the purpose that we were there for, but he seemed to do some grandstanding on Wheeling there about the interstates, and he told us that Interstate 70 westbound should be open from Perkins straight through to Ohio. So I don't know if that's completed or not, but that was our game plan at the time. Next, the traditional Halloween door-to-door program was canceled due to the West Virginia CDC guidelines, as was the COVID-19 virus that has increased recently in Ohio and Marshall counties. After several conversations with council members and park committee members, plus Howard Gamble of the Ohio County Health Department, it was decided to cancel the parade distribution for Candy Plus for the village's children, but reschedule this program at a later and a safe date. It is important to get this donated Candy Plus to the children, as that was the intended purpose. And we also canceled the door-to-door. We didn't want to get involved with the virus. One story I heard today, it was kind of unique. There was a resident on Elm Lane, got this long tube. I don't know if it was an insert that you have on carpet that you get from the carpet shop, or a piece of pipe, but he had set this up so that he was up above, and as the kids came along, he would shoot candy down the chute, and the kids got a big thrill out of that because they were looking up the pipe to see when and what was coming down. So there's kind of some unique things that come out of. Mike, remember that little setup. And then on Sunday, yesterday, and because of the wind speeds that increased noticeably, there were several incidents that occurred. First, on Cedar Lane, a tree came down through an electric line coming down on top of a passing motorist, which caused damage to the vehicle, and the driver's okay, he wasn't injured. The Bethlehem Fire Department and village were on scene. The roadway was shut down, AEP was notified, and after AP repairs, the roadway was reopened at approximately 9 o'clock last night. This accident happened shortly after noon, and when I found out about it and everything, they were waiting for AEP to get there. And when I went by about 7 o'clock, AEP was still working there. Went by at 8 o'clock, they were still just winding up and everything. And then at 9 o'clock, they had cleared there. And that's why Tommy's not with us. Tommy Otten's not with us tonight because he called me on the way down here and he told me that he has probably about 16 hours of work tomorrow probably. And he doesn't know when they're going to get done tonight. Then on Sunday yesterday about 3 p.m., it was reported that some type of wire was down and dangling on the ground. Vehicles were hitting it and still attached to a utility pole. The Bethlehem Fire Department and Village Police were on the scene at approximately, and this happened over Mount Lebanon Drive, about 127 Mount Lebanon Drive. And after examination of the wire, it appeared to be a telephone wire, which was temporarily secured until it can be corrected by the proper utility. One other thing I want to mention, that our used 2009 Ford Crown Vic that was picked up on Friday, October the 16th. The paperwork has been in process and the title should arrive shortly. I know that the DMV is behind in their paperwork. This is a vehicle that I contacted all council members to obtain approval. The bottom line price, out the door price, was $6,075, which was the vehicle plus processing fees. I wasn't aware of the processing fees. The vehicle was actually $5,800. The processing fees, I know one of them was $250. And in fact, they had us lined up for a license plate, but I remembered that we have municipal license plates. So they were going to charge us $5,150 for that, so I got them to take that off. But the bottom line was $6,075, and it's sitting out here. It's white. We're in the process of, we've got a radio in it. We're in the process of putting in the partition between the front and the back seat. We have some of those items in stock, but unfortunately we don't have the mounting brackets. So as soon as we get the mounting brackets, we'll continue that. It hasn't been placed in service yet because of the things we want to do. Okay, committee reports.
Don?
Well, I'm sorry.
Can I follow up on it real quick about what you were saying about the guy? I don't know if you people know him, it's Joe Donahue, at least he lives.
Yeah, well, I didn't mention proper name.
Yeah, you can't,
Can't?
HIPAA, you know, HIPAA, you can't.
No, I wouldn't mention, I didn't
I
mention
just want you to keep him in
purposely.
his prayers,
It's
he's doing well.
Yeah, well, because of the HIPAA laws and everything, you gotta watch what you say, you know. Unfortunately, I like to tell people.
I never was a
You know,
politician.
because we're all so close, we're close families here, and we know most of the people and everything, but,
He's doing well.
yeah. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad to see, and then Aaron's talked to him too, so. Okay, next, we got committee reports. Parks and Recreation.
Well, as everybody knows, we got canceled, and I'm not happy about it. I don't know what it's got to do with social distancing. If you're going house to house, knocking on a door
Yeah.
with your family, and we took precautions to wear the gloves and the mask and hand the candy out to these kids.
Yeah.
I just wish they would do their homework a little bit, you know what I mean, before they go orange. And Aaron didn't find this out till Saturday morning. Am I right, Aaron?
Yeah, that was,
And I was a little PO'd about it. You know what? The kids were still trick or treating. There was kids out, not a lot, but
yeah,
I just wish they'd do their homework. So with that by, I guess we're going to do it. Hopefully this Saturday, we're going to set everything down in the park. I'll try to get Shane Mouth to put it on his that sign, and try to get the school to put it on his sign. And we'll let the kids come down here and pick the trick or treat
well, we
bags
can
up.
also let the media know. I got a hold of Channel 7, but Channel 9 I couldn't reach them on.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about, Dawn, we still wanna try to keep it within
Yeah,
a
but
municipality.
when we went to cancel it, I'm telling you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Notified the newspaper and everything, so we get that message
So
out.
if we can get it up there and whatever candy we have left, we just think of maybe going over to the school, you know what, and maybe distributing it there and maybe find some other, you know,
Yeah. Well,
Aaron
just-
had a good idea, till we go to churches up here and get the things. Then again, we might get rid of it all Saturday, you never
Yeah,
know.
well, I'd like to get it back to the kids, because that was what it was intended for by the donors. And,
Exactly right,
that
yeah, I
was-
agree with you
That was
100%.
overwhelming.
But, you know, we got shot in the foot, so there's nothing
Yeah.
we can do about it, so.
Well,
We're
it's just-
planning on this Saturday, so everybody will know
well,
what's
as long
going
as
on.
it's safe to do it, then, so
Okay.
that's the main thing.
That's all I have from, you got anything
Okay.
else?
Aaron, do you have anything with the park?
Not really.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
She's all wore out from all the what
She
she's
got
been
that
doing
grant-
there.
She got the grant too. Oh, my God.
Well, yeah, there's just a lot of those things. Okay, Aaron or Bobby, police, anything on police?
I got one thing, I just hate to be like I told you so, but all this stuff is going on, we're on Interstate 470 running radar. See, Dawn, when I bring that stuff up, it's for a reason, patrol the villages. But I know you said about 470 and some kind of making money for the village, but I think the officer would have caught half of that if he would have been in the village instead of on 470. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Anything from you, Aaron? Okay. Roads and streets, Tom, or, okay, yeah, Tom, Steve.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Tim, anything on water or sewer?
Yeah, I was contacted by 3 or 4 residents over the last couple days. They were out working in their yards, raking leaves and everything, and a couple of them fell into their meter pits. The meter lids were not secured. One girl sprained her ankle pretty bad. That's something we need to really keep an eye on when the guys are reading meters.
We addressed that Saturday. It
Right.
just happened to be that gal was in the office because we thought we were gonna get phone calls about Halloween and everything, and she took that call. Ben addressed that Saturday afternoon.
Great, if we
Okay.
can keep an eye on it
And
going forward,
Not
that'd
only
be.
that, we told the street crew
Yeah.
as a whole what the facts of life were.
Where was this?
One on Chapel, one on Orchard. I forget where the third one
About
was.
on Orchard was it? We knew the ones on Chapel.
That's what I'm
Two,
trying to
that's what it was. Two on
identify.
Chapel,
I
one on
wanna
Orchard.
know.
Like 169, 167 Chapel, right in that area.
That's 17 Orchard.
Yeah, the
And
Chapel-
That helps me narrow down
Right.
who's making these mistakes so I can correct them.
Sure. You can add my house at 190 Chapel Road. I know not to walk on it when I'm cutting grass, but it's as we're talking right now, it's not secured.
Okay.
I just ignore it. I know it's,
Well, they should've told us about that so we could address it.
Dawn's been like that for about 3 months. You think the guys would know when they read the meter, it wasn't
Well,
secure from the
Maybe,
month before.
maybe they just put it back the way they found it, but that, if it's loose, we ought to address it. Maybe you need a new cover.
Ben, mine doesn't have a nut on top of mine.
You're gonna be replacing them all in the very near future anyway. I would make sure they're secured while we're
Yeah.
still
Well,
reading. When
that's-
we move to radio reads, then we can address ones without nuts and,
Yeah.
you know, or smaller problems. Ones without nuts isn't a small problem, Mark, I'm sorry, I apologize, that's not a small problem. But, we're gonna be in the process of replacing them all when
Yeah.
we go to the radio reads. So we'll just make sure they're all fastened out
We've
tight.
already actually, for ones that we found several that the nuts have broken off on them, and that we had already had a plan in place to take care of those. When we bring those lids in here to drill them, to put the fittings in for the radio reads, we're going to be fitting them with new nuts before they go back out as well. So that, those type of problems we're going to address, and I obviously need to be a lot more strict with people about making sure lids get put on properly. We do, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but we do have fairly new people. I mean, they have been out for, a few months now, obviously, and it's not really a good excuse, but human error does occur. I didn't realize that your particular house has been with a loose lid for so long, but it will get addressed. When I know these things, I can take care of these things, and that's why I'm nipping this in the butt now. So.
Okay, thanks,
That's all I had, Don, thank you.
Okay, zoning, Mark, anything on zoning?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll get back to you, Ben, on maintenance. You have some things you want to tell council tonight?
Yeah, we talked the last time that I was here about those radios. Turns out the quote that they had initially sent me was incorrect, and we actually managed to save about $1,500 by me figuring out those mistakes. So it's less, and as a result, I took some of that difference, $180 of that difference, to get covers for the radios, the individual radios, so that they're better protected from elements. But the total for that quote ended up coming from $8,180 down to $6,640, and then plus the 180. So that's one thing. I wanted to see. I know it was discussed at the last meeting. I wasn't here, but I watched it. What the plan was with the first allotment of radio reads. That is all contingent, of course, on approving and getting new software in here first. The office has to get taken care of before we can get anything in the ground, otherwise it's worthless. They can't handle that technology here with their software. So, but I wanted to relay that we're ready for that whenever the software gets taken care of in here. We're ready to move forward on putting some meters in the ground, hopefully before the weather turns too bad, but we can pick and choose good days. We had already discussed, and part of that securing of that money from the Ohio County Commission came with including the cost of a drill press for taking care of the meter lids to fit the endpoints in them, so they read better when the drive-by system is functional. We have meticulously looked at drill presses, and we needed something that was beefier, about a 1.5 horsepower or greater, and we found one. Just letting you guys know, it's about $1,070. It's a stand-up model, but it's one of the better reviewed and rated ones out there. I don't really want to waste money on getting something that's going to burn up or not suit our needs. And if it doesn't drill through the lids, then it's a wasted effort. That's about all I really wanted to
Any questions
go
from Ben?
over.
Okay. Next, I want Erin to, she has some details to go over regarding the 3 computers that we have in the office here.
We've been doing our part trying to find a new billing program. We've reviewed 4 different vendors, and I put a paper out in everybody's table tonight. I know it's a little bit complicated, especially for people that don't work with it every day or completely understand terminology. But the 3 of us have had 3 online like seminars with these people, discussed, talked about what we need, what we don't need, what we can use, what's best for us. The cost, relatively the same. It just depends. What we ran into was the company we would like to go with is the Muni Billing, Municipal Billing. They seem to be, I don't want to say it, maybe not the best, I don't want to say the best company, but the one easiest to work with, the one that we prefer to work with. They all offer the same thing. He's been very helpful and putting things out there for us to think about. And what we don't want to do is go with the program we have now, because that is just totally obsolete. Everything now is cloud-based, which means your storage is all in the cloud. It's not kept on a hard drive anywhere or anything like that. You can have hard drive backups, that's no big deal. But we have done a lot of research on this, and I don't know, what we have to do to make a decision on this, whether it's in our hands or you guys have to decide, or you want to talk about it, look at it, ask questions. I'm really not sure how much I could tell you about this, but not, you people not knowing what the billing program entails, you know, what it entails, what we worked with and what we looked at.
Aaron, can you tell me a little bit about how this program will work with the entering of the data? Will it import straight into the system, or will you still have to go in and punch in the numbers?
The meter reads,
Yeah, on this system, on the one you want.
on the one we want, it's a snap of the fingers. From their program to this program, it's done. The one we want to, they can convert all our data we have now over to that program, which is huge. Otherwise, the three of us would have sat here for hours and hours and weeks keying everything in.
Can our computers handle this software?
I believe they can, yeah. Because it's mostly, like I said, it's all cloud-based, so, you know, the big information is stored off-site, basically. The only thing that we thought about too, we did have some issues this year with the server and the router, when the police department hooked up to it, causing an overload for the Wi-Fi, which shut a few things down, and it was like a vicious circle for a while. Originally, the police had their own server and Wi-Fi, their own server and router, and then when theirs went down, they just piggybacked onto the villages. They are the village, but piggybacked onto ours here, which caused an overload. We had to get a new router, and it's still, now that we're cloud-based, we will need that even more so, having them separate again. And that's something else we would like to address too. And also, Ben has his own setup in the back for his stuff, which he deals with the city of Wheeling, you know, keeping track of the pumps and all that kind of stuff. The Wi-Fi signal's not strong enough back there for him to do what he needs to do. He has to come in here and do printing or download things to get close to the signal. All that takes is like a booster, that's what I'm looking for, a booster, put in the back so he can have Wi-Fi back there. That part of it's not that expensive. It's just, you know, the few little things we need to get this all working up here in the 20th century and make it the most efficient we can do. So let's just look at the paperwork. If you have any questions, you want to, you don't know what we're talking about or what we, why we decided we liked municipal billing, we can just talk about it and let you know exactly what we know and give you our reasons, but it's been a long drawn out process.
The fact that you can message us directly with work orders and things, like with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, they offered several things too, like Ben was saying. I can pull up on the computer and shoot to Ben's cell phone and put his work orders on his cell phone. There's, you know, no more writing in paper. Stick it in the file folder back there. Also, they also.
Is that extra? Because isn't that why we have the
No.
radios?
Well.
I mean, we just spent how much on radios? We don't.
Correct,
Well,
it is not extra. Everything
Okay.
with municipal billing
Okay.
is included in their package, which
Good.
is not the other two. The other two cloud-based, theirs is not included. I went back to the Banyan, who's on that list, after we thought about a couple different things we wanted to include from them, and it upped the price like $2,300. So anything you add on would be more. Municipal billing, not true. Everything that they are gonna provide us, whether we ask for it now or ask for it later, is gonna be included.
Ben, top of your head,
Going out.
do you remember what the Badger meters were costing us, the system overall?
Under 96,000.
196. What was our grant?
What's that?
What our grant was 105.
105.
Yeah,
Three.
that was 105.
Aaron, which company was it that you chose to go, would you like to go with, did you say?
I have it as Muni Billing, M-U-N-I Billing.
Oh, Muni, down the third
Yeah.
one down, okay.
Yeah, that's the one. They're also incorporating, which was huge, which would have come in handy this past weekend. We will be able to send out text messages directly to every customer we have that we have their cell phone information, or an email. The drop of a hat. Roads closed. We're working on a water line. We have a water break.
Feature there.
Yeah, tremendous feature. They're implementing that at the start of 2021, no cost. It's just a new feature they're adding to their program, all inclusive.
Can they do our B&Os?
B&O's included. B&O was included for no extra cost.
Aaron, I see $4.95 monthly.
Correct, that's the
So
next.
I see that there's not a charge on a couple of the other bids.
Everybody has an annual fee on municipal billing. They charge by the month. And that is, we discussed this too, that is for the service they provide, more or less. I'm gonna work on that too. I told them that I would be told we have to sharpen our pencils and make sure we can get a better price, the best price we can get. So I'm in negotiations with them about the cost of the maintenance service and the annual fees that they charge. But I think what we're getting from them is well worth the $500 a month fee. The all-inclusive, from here on out, anything they provide that they come up new for their system and their program, we get for nothing. That is not true with any other place that we talk to. As soon as if I would call up another one of those companies and say, how about the text messaging? Can you add that? Sure, we can add that. That's another $1,200. Okay, so, you lump that in there, nickel and dime you the whole time. That's what we've discovered talking to these companies, so. That was the only one. Like I said, I am negotiating that to see if I can get a better price on that. I don't know. That's what we have so far.
So my only question is, are you gonna check on this before we act on this, or what?
Check on the,
Whatever you said you wanted,
oh, he'll be calling me Wednesday. They'll all be calling Wednesday first.
so in other words, you actually don't want this acted on tonight, huh?
Don't have to, especially if you have questions. We don't want to push anything through that you guys, want to know more about. It's a big investment. It's something that has to be done. And, so, look at it, think about it, ask questions. If you know somebody that knows something,
Yeah.
Ask around, find out.
Does Jamie have any thoughts on it? Does Jamie have any thoughts on it, the accountant?
Jamie's pretty much whatever, she thinks whatever we want to go with is fine with her.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
Shouldn't-
Okay?
Any other questions for Aaron? Okay.
Could we act on this tonight, Dawn, or we want any more
Well,
information?
I don't know, are you finished with your homework, or do you want to do some more homework with your vendor to?
Like I said, we are perfectly happy going with the municipal billing, the muni billing. But I don't want to shove this out on you if there's questions, if there's doubts.
Aaron, see if you can get them off that $4.95 a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll act on the next meeting, because we'll have a financial report that accompanies the next meeting minutes.
Yes.
Right now, it looks like overall it'll be about $105,000 that'll have to come out of water. I'd like to look at that and do some math before the final. if
Does
that's
this all
okay.
have to come out of water?
What's that?
This does not all have to come out of water.
Right. But with the total cost of the project and the grant and the drill press and everything else, it'll be about 105 out of water. I just want to get an updated financial statement before we act.
Okay. Well, that's the thing too, because we have the business stuff on this,
Mhm.
part of it does come out of general.
Right.
Jamie said she would figure out the ratio
And she'll be at the next
and
meeting, right?
adjust it accordingly.
Let's wait till next
That way we
meeting.
can ask her some questions as well.
Yeah, let's wait till the next meeting.
Go ahead of time, though.
Yeah, we got some time. Yeah.
And there's no problem, if anybody wanted to see this setup, I could hook up with a conference call with this guy, if anybody was interested in seeing how it works, what it looks like. It's very simple. Very simple now.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Okay, next we'll move into old business. Is there anything that needs to be brought up under old business?
Yeah, I got a big beef. Steve, I would like you, and who else is on the road committee with you?
Tommy.
I walk that orchard every day. Have you seen that road lately? What we get it paved 2 years ago? Has it been 2 years?
ago, I think.
3.
3 years ago?
3 or 4 anyway, wasn't it?
There's a crack from Cherry all the way down to the other, loop.
Okay.
There's a crack right down the middle. There's cracks all over Orchard. It's not good shape, not from just being paved 3 years ago.
Well, that's why.
I mean, I think Wilson needs to come over and address it. I think we need to get Jack Tush up here to look at it. And, they have to make some corrections.
I haven't,
That road is not gonna last.
yeah, I know where it's been sealed in a couple of places, like we used to go around, you know, in the summertime and have them sealed. Anyway, the manhole covers that I mentioned the last council meeting, I have someone lined up, but they're busy right now and they haven't got back to me. I wanted to do the first one, the worst one first, and the worst one was last year we hit it, and the Ben had to take and cut around the ring because it was up in the air, so he had to cut it to make it safe. But that's the first one I'm
Well,
gonna do.
I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
but
okay.
it has nothing to do with the manhole covers.
Well, I know,
There's a-
but they're
there's
in
a-
that roadway though.
There's a huge crack right down the middle, and there's cracks right on the side coming out of Cherry. It's not good. For being done 3 years ago, I think we need to get Wilson's up there and replenish that.
Well, there's another thing, if you look down Orchard at the beginning of Cherry, the road, I'm gonna exaggerate, it leans this way, whereas I was talking to, this year that maybe we could put a strip of asphalt to bring it up to make it more level too.
I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
we have to do it.
Yeah.
I think it should be their
Well,
responsibility.
we put
I
a
mean-
water diverter in there, cause you know, the water comes down the Cherry and goes there, and it goes down to the drain, it hasn't been used much, but there's still puddles on the left side there when you look down Orchard.
I would still like Steve and Tom to go look
Yeah,
at it.
well, that's fine.
We'll
There's
look
no-
at it.
Yeah, and see what you think.
No
'Cause
problem.
I tell you what, I don't, for being done 3 years ago, I think it's a terrible job. They put the seam right down the middle. You can almost see where it's starting to split. Water's starting to work underneath of it. You're getting sideways cracks and everything.
See, this is one of the downsides when they put two passes in there, they don't seal the middle where the asphalt butts together. And that's where the weather gets in. In the wintertime, you get expansion and contraction, and that's what's happened there, I'm sure.
Well, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying, and I'm not arguing
Yeah,
with you.
no.
It's just the idea.
We'll take a look at it.
They,
Nothing ventured,
if
nothing
they
gained.
put two different things in, don't they know that's gonna happen?
Yeah.
They've been doing it enough.
Well,
I mean,
see,
go look at it, see what
see,
you
like
think.
when we did North Crest Court, we sealed
Okay.
the sides as well as a V, because a lot of times they V the center because that's where your storm drains are. But we had that sealed, and you could see it because it was the glossy type and not the non-glossy type of seal.
I'll just let all the councilmen, just go walk Virgin.
Yeah.
Satisfied? I won't say nothing,
Yeah.
but to me, it's
No, that's
not a
fine.
good job. It's not a good
It's-
job at all.
It's,
We'll get with Jack Tush,
Yeah, see what you think.
Tommy and
Yeah.
I.
I just
See
wanna
if
throw it
there's a
out there so you
guarantee.
look.
I don't know, I never heard of anyone giving a guarantee on the road, but it's something to look into.
we'll get you to watch it out.
You know,
Maple
It's just
Lane.
the idea, it's not gonna last that long, Steve.
I realize that, I
Yeah.
realize that,
Don't
but,
they give you some kind of a timeline where it should?
well, we're gonna get with Jack and see what he
Seriously.
says. He's the one that goes on the job, inspects it, gets with the contractor, whoever it is paving,
Okay.
and let him see.
Yeah, this year he was on the job every day when they were paving up here. Road a mill and,
Like I said, I just
Base,
want you guys to go
top.
look at, see what you
Yeah.
think.
We'll do that.
All right, I appreciate it.
yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
check that out, that's no problem. Okay, any other old business at this point to be brought up before council tonight? Okay, if there's no old business, how about new business? Is there any new business that needs to come before council?
Are you gonna, I got a question. The new police cruiser, are you gonna bring it up for a vote for on paperwork?
Gonna do what, please?
The new police cruiser
Yeah.
we bought, the
Yeah.
used one,
Yes.
are you gonna have a motion?
Oh, in other words, what you want is a confirming motion
Yes,
to
please.
confirm the purchase, yeah. Let's do that as a matter of record. I would ask, council to, I don't have that one here, it's a 2009 Ford Crown Vic. On, October the 20th, I got a hold of Councilman Harishuk, I got a hold of, Bobby Henry, Tommy Otten, Aaron, and then, on the 21st, I got a hold of Stacky, Matt, and I didn't get anything back from Mark, but I had talked to him since then. Everybody voted for it. I told him as much as I could about it. So what I would entertain a motion that the 2009 Ford Crown Vic that we obtained from Bob Robinson Chevrolet Cadillac for a total price of $6,075. I would a confirming motion to my straw vote, let's say.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Got that, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, is there any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Anyway, okay. Any other new business that might come before council? If there be no,
I think we should recognize Erin for all the work she did obtaining the grant
yes.
for the trails and putting
I
the
tell her on
record
a
of
daily
the.
basis because I have
the
to catch
meeting.
up with her. She's doing it. She's always, she's been quite a workhorse. She's into not only the Halloween, was it, but she's into the park things, plus the water and sewer. She gets the complaints for the water and sewer if we have any. The orchestrates the billing. She ties in with Ben when they do the meter reading, puts that stuff together, gets the bills out. She's quite a workhorse. Yes. So, yeah. Matt, let the minutes reflect that we all unanimously approved Erin's duties here at the office, and then some. She's quite talented. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty. Let's put it that way.
Jane Ann and Dory and them, they work like clockwork. I'm glad they help you out too, Benny.
No, we're very fortunate to have 3 good girls in the office. These girls work together, they play together, they interface, and between the 3 of them, if there's any problems or something, they get it resolved. One knows this or that, but I'll tell you, it's a pleasure to work with them and have them in the office here because it's a big help. If we didn't have the cooperation, I'd have some problems, I'm sure. Okay, if there's no other new business, any citizen wishing to be heard, Tim?
Phone's in front of you, I can't hear.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like it.
Any citizen wishing to be heard?
I don't hear nothing either.
Nope.
If there be no citizen, we haven't heard anything from them. I'll give you your cell phone back.
Thanks, bud.
Okay. One thing before we adjourn, I just want to say if everybody hasn't voted, let's get out and vote tomorrow. That's do your civic duty. Be reading in the paper. Yes, there's been an enormous early vote by mail, in person, and so on and so forth. High County concluded their early voting last Saturday. So the polls are open 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. That's state law. It's been that way for years that I can recall. But anyway, be sure you vote one way or another. If you haven't already, let's get a vote tomorrow. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.